In the news this week, the government is told that praying shouldn't be a crime by the CI's new campaign. Bath's Theatre Royal is to host a controversial sex ed show for children as young as 5. And the BBC's Stephen Nolan reveals that he was warned off publicly criticising Stonewall. Hello. A new campaign has launched this week to protect the ordinary work of churches from an overly broad ban on so-called conversion therapy. The CI's Let Us Pray campaign warns that a ban on prayer, preaching and pastoral advice, as proposed by many LGBT activists, would be in breach of international law. It comes as the government launches its consultation on outlawing the practice, a ban that LGBT activists complain does not go far enough. The campaign says pseudo-medical abuses must be tackled if they are occurring, but warns politicians to be wary of activists exploiting concerns about abuse to further their own agendas against Christians. Campaign spokesman Simon Calvert set out its aims.
Well, thankfully, most people would never dream of trying to criminalise the way other people pray, and that's certainly not the government's intention in legislating against conversion therapy. But the activists on the other side of this issue, those demanding the ban, are very upfront that it is praying that they want to target if that prayer doesn't fit with their particular theology. So there's everything to play for on this issue, and it is important then that Christians are willing to get involved, are willing to support the Let Us Pray campaign to help make the case that you can ban conversion therapy without attacking the ordinary work of churches.
Proposals in the Republic of Ireland could see people who pray outside abortion clinics facing imprisonment or a hefty fine. The pro-abortion bill would also see people criminalised for holding pro-life signs within a designated exclusion zone. Sinn Féin Senator Paul Gavin claimed his proposed legislation is required to halt pro-life behaviour such as offering prayer or advice, which he described as distressing and intimidatory. But the Christian Institute's Kieran Kelly called the bill unnecessarily restrictive. There are already laws against intimidation and harassment. A buffer zone won't change that, but could outlaw free speech, including prayer, counselling and other offers of assistance to women who may need them. A children's theatre in Bath is advertising a sex education show featuring nudity to audiences as young as 5. The family sex show is described as a fun and silly performance about the painfully awkward subject of sex, and a celebration of difference, equality and liberation. It promises to imagine a future where there is no shame, and explore issues such as queerness, sex, gender and relationships. It has been created in consultation with the School of Sexuality Education, a controversial organisation which teaches explicit sex education in schools.
The School of Sexuality Education often uses highly explicit materials and contradicts not only Christian beliefs about gender and sexuality, but basic science, claiming, for example, that biological sex is assigned at birth. They say they want to teach young people about children's sexual rights, and, for example, to empower them to challenge unequal power relations of privilege and oppression arising from gender and sexual identities. And this could breach schools' legal duty not to promote partisan political views.
And finally, BBC presenter Stephen Nolan has revealed that senior staff at the corporation warned him not to report on Stonewall for his own safety and the sake of his career. Nolan and colleague David Thompson recently published a podcast exposing the influence the LGBT lobby group has on governments and institutions. I've been broadcasting in Northern Ireland for 25 years with all the bullets and bombs, and I've had death threats, but added he has never had the volume of people warning me off an issue. There's a fear factor of even talking about it. That's not acceptable or healthy. Debating a subject should not affect your career. Well, that's all for this week. For regular updates and information on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.